Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Swarm Talk presented by the Crowded Booth. I'm your host, Bryce Koon. We got a couple of staff changes to go over. Later on in the week, we're going to be talking a recap of spring practice, all that and more here on the latest episode of Swarm Talk presented by the Crowded Booth.
Pile in here and make yourself feel at home. The Crowded Booth is coming on. The Crowded Booth with Bryce Koon.
Hey, everybody, and welcome in. Bryce Koon, as always, your host of the Crowded Booth, and specifically the Georgia Tech feature here on our YouTube channel. We're so excited to once again be back with you. Might sound a little bit different, misplaced the mic, but I felt like, hey, we'd gone too long without a show. We're going to probably double dip this week into two shows as spring practice is wrapping up, and there's a couple of staff changes as well that I want to go over you with. If you follow me on Twitter, make sure to do that. Follow us at the Crowded Booth. Hit the subscribe button. We're almost at 250 subscribers. We have great content. I know a lot of you Georgia Tech fans that are watching this right now want to push you towards some of the other content. We talk Falcons. We talk Braves. We talk a lot of local sports here in the state of Georgia, and I appreciate you hitting that sub button. But let's go ahead and talk right now, because this is something that's really interesting to me. And obviously, we've been talking about what's going to happen, portal, all these kind of things. And as I reported on Saturday, it had been in the rumblings of over a month, but I officially reported on Saturday, and we made this known that Kenyatta Watson is now on the Georgia Tech staff. This is huge. I think that when we see exactly what Watson can bring, as you see the announcement right here, Kenyatta Watson, you see the title. He's going to be an assistant to the head coach, but he's also over to director of scouting and pro liaison as well. Guys, I want to dive into this hire, and I want to talk a little bit about this, because this is a guy in Watson that is regarded as a national recruiting type of guy. He's a talent evaluator with deep ties, as we know, in the Atlanta metro area and the state of Georgia. He's joined Georgia Tech's football staff as director of scouting and pro liaison as well. We all know that he comes from Florida State, where he served as the Seminoles director of player relations for the past 9 months, and this is going to be the biggest thing. He's going to be heavily involved in Yellow Jackets recruiting efforts, but evaluating not only high school guys, but he's also going to be evaluating those that are really, really big, in my opinion. And I think the biggest thing is going to be seeing the portal. How does Kenyatta Watson affect the portal? I'm going to give you some names that I think you should be looking at of how does Kenyatta Watson affect some of these names that we've seen, because it's going to be very, very interesting, in my opinion, to see some 2023 guys that could be able to be coerced into coming to Atlanta and on the flats with Kenyatta Watson in the fold. We'll talk about that, but I think it's going to be very interesting, guys, to just see kind of what is the dynamic. And let's talk about what Watson brings to this staff. Georgia Tech is a program, and we've talked a lot about this, and I want your thoughts in below, a program that has talent, and opposing coaching staffs have recognized that. Opposing coaches have said this. Pundits, they have talent. It's been, do they have enough depth? I think Watson's going to be able to bring in guys that through the portal, we're going to see guys that maybe have an interest in coming back home to the Georgia area. Maybe have the ties already to that Atlanta metro area. They want to come home. Now Georgia Tech could be a destination where they see a familiar face in a guy like Kenyatta Watson. But also it's going to, I think, heighten the level that we're going to see offers being out. We're going to see the on-campus recruiting experience. We're going to see that take a massive jump. Because, listen, they did a good job. We've seen the fanfare. We've seen all these different things. But for me, in this sense, I think Georgia Tech, this is a good hire for them where they are currently. They're trying to accrue more talent, accrue more depth. We talked about they're under the limit with the roster selection and how they want to continue to move in that. But for Georgia Tech to be able to take that next jump, they've got to be able to identify key pieces in their own state. And I've talked about this. In my opinion, you could recruit independently from the school in Athens and still field a very, very good team, a top 35, a top 40 type of class. So with this situation with Watson, he is going to be able to bring kids to the table that I think would not maybe have considered Georgia Tech otherwise. And I'm going to give you some names right here. And I'm going to give you a couple big ones. Now, these are, let's see, these are names that I'm not telling you right now they're going to come, but I think that they're going to be able to bring Georgia Tech's going to be able to brought to the table for these young men. First, I'm going to go with the guy that we know as Bo Hughley. Jonathan Hughley, the 6'7", 275-pound offensive tackle from Langston Hughes High School in Fairburn, Georgia. This is a young man that we've already kind of talked about. We've already kind of talked about, and I should say this, his ability to be a game changer, not only on the field, but in recruiting class is going to be well documented for whoever gets him. Langston Hughes has strong ties already with Georgia Tech. There's kind of I don't want to say a pipeline, but there is connections already there with the two young men that committed this past cycle. I think Hughley's going to be a nice addition to this. He's currently committed to Georgia, but the word kind of going around is that he might not be as firm as many might think. Another one for us is the Cedar Grove High School prospect out of Ellenwood, Georgia. It's Kyan Lee. This is a 4-star cornerback, 5'11", 180 pounds. He was a former Georgia commit. His recruitment currently involves schools such as Florida State, LSU, and Florida. But this is a thing that I think Georgia Tech fans know about. They know who Lee is. They know what Cedar Grove has done. And so is Kenyatta Watson. And this is another guy that I think they're going to be able to look at. And then I want to go in this next one. And this one I might butcher his name, but Caleb Lavallee, the 6'1" linebacker from Whitfield Academy, he's probably one of the best rising linebackers in this state. Florida State has been involved in the recruitment. This is another guy that Kenyatta Watson has documented along his time down in Tallahassee that I think could be flipped and make that jump to Atlanta. I think it's going to be a lot of great things you're going to see that Watson can bring to this program in notoriety, and he can kind of take the burden off of some other people to be able to be the guy that reaches out through the portal. Talking with people around the program, they love this hire. This has been a well-documented hire. Aside from the Twitter pundits, this has been a well-documented hire from the people who matter. And I think this is an observation in my part of seeing them go out and get someone that has experience, knows the state, and knows what it takes to field a competitive team at the college level, especially at a school in your own state. And so I think Kenyatta was going to command the respect that we saw when I put that tweet out there. There were a lot of prospects that were hyped about this. There's a lot of current college players that were sending their congratulations to KW. I think this is a big hire for Georgia Tech. I think they can do big things for them. It's going to be remaining to be seen, how does that affect in the development process? You still have to develop. But Kenyatta Watson is a key piece in bringing more talent to the flats and getting them a chance and giving Georgia Tech a chance to get in front of these higher profile prospects. There's going to be kids that are going to be seeing Georgia Tech on their table at their high school that maybe they weren't originally. Watson can do that for you. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. I want to tell you real quick about this right here because, listen, we've got an awesome opportunity with Section 103. They do a fantastic job. The good friends over there, they got some great gear. I'm not sporting it right now, but they've got some really, really great stuff. And I want to make sure that you know all about it. Section 103 does a fantastic job. The only place to get that beautiful ATL logo that's right there on the field at Bobby Dodd. It's a fantastic brand. They do a great job. And I'm really, really excited to be partnering with them throughout this Georgia Tech show and as they continue to just do great things for the Georgia Tech fan base as well. Once again, this is the Crowded Booth. This is Swarm Talk as we talk about some staff changes on the flats. Back here with you, and I want to tell you about this right here. This is another interesting moment. I tweeted this earlier today. This show is coming out on Wednesday evening and afternoon, whichever time you look at it over on the YouTube channel. Make sure to set up those notifications, hit those alerts so you know when the Swarm Talk latest episode drops. We got some great stuff coming up for you. Jim Chaney is on the flats. Yes, it's true. First reported earlier today. We saw the picture a couple of days ago. This is a big hire, in my opinion, just for the experience factor. You're going to get Georgia fans calling in. You're going to get Tennessee fans calling in and saying, oh, you're not going to like them. This is great for Georgia Tech. Chip Long worked with them. There's an experience there with those two in Tennessee. Also, Chris Winkie. Adding more will never hurt you. This is another set of eyes, and it also proves to me, we got a shorter show today, but it also proves to me that the brass, the people that say, are opening up the checkbook a little bit more. They saw what happened in the first 3 years, and they're trying to give Jeff Collins and this staff everything they need to succeed. I've mentioned it multiple times. I'm neither, this show is not based on to be a Jeff Collins fan show or not. All we're sitting here saying is, in order to be successful, you have to have the necessary tools. I don't think all the necessary tools were there years 1 through 3. Year 4 looks like they're starting to get more of that. This is a very exciting coaching staff. It's going to be a lot of fun to see what they do. We're going to have more information when the official press release comes, but sources have confirmed, and we've made that, and multiple sites have now published it, that Jim Chaney is on that staff as an offensive analyst. Another set of eyes. He's developed quarterbacks. He's done a good job. This is another set of eyes for Chip Long to use. Listen, the more the merrier. This offense wants to improve. They've made a lot of changes in the offseason. We saw in the spring game. We're going to be recapping that later this week. I like it all around. This staff's done a fun job. They've done a great job. Let's see, can it translate when we play Clemson here in a little bit? That's going to be the biggest part. When Clemson and Georgia Tech face off, that's when it really matters. As for the offseason, it started off kind of weird. And you all know the player that left. But I think now they're starting to push more, and they're trying to push more, and there's a lot of positives that have really come out of this offseason. I think there's going to be an identity that's set. Kenyatta Watson, like I said, a big hire, a fantastic hire for this entire program, in my opinion. And then you move and you bring in a guy like Jim Chaney, a ton of experience, multiple stops. He's coached in the SEC, the Big Ten, the NFL. He knows what it takes to build a winner and be a winner. He's going to be another set of eyes for this offense to lay on. I'm excited about that. Hey, listen, my name's Bryce Koon. We had a shorter show today. I love talking Georgia Tech with you all. We're going to do little snippets here and there. We're going to have some interviews. We're going to have some long-form shows as well. But this is to recap some of the staff changes. I didn't forget Kerry Dixon out, the biggest name that we've been talking about over and over again. And I'll tell you this, when you look and you see what Kerry Dixon provided for Georgia Tech, there's no doubt in my mind that you've got to go and get somebody. But Dell Alexander from Notre Dame, to me, seems like the most likely candidate. He worked with Chip Long up in South Bend, was not retained under Marcus Freeman's staff. Dell Alexander is a name to keep an eye on as the search for the wide receivers coach continues for Georgia Tech. And at this venture in the game, who knows? This is offseason unlike we've ever seen before. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to see what happens. And don't forget the transfer portal. We're about to have another wave. That's why bringing in Watson might be the perfect storm for this Georgia Tech team that's looking to make moves in the portal and recruiting as well. This has been Swarm Talk. We've talked coaching changes. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Give us a like. Give us a follow. Listen, all it does, it doesn't do much. It doesn't take much, I should say. But Georgia Tech show, you don't have one, this is the place you want to be with the coverage. I'm excited to talk with you. We're going to continue to ramp up more coverage. It's going to be a ton of fun. My name's Bryce Koon. This is Swarm Talk presented by the Crowded Booth.
Pile in here and make yourself feel at home. The Crowded Booth is coming on. The Crowded Booth with Bryce Koon.